Alright, today we are going to be experimenting a little bit with the nested tabs, and I came up with the idea of this tutorial while watching Elementor's latest YouTube video where they were sharing 5 inspirational examples of designs using the nested tabs. And I read the comments under the video and people were very unhappy in general by the fact that, first of all, Elementor did not show how to make these inspirational examples, and second of all, they did not show how this would look on mobile. Yes, they all looked fabulous, fantastic, but they are useless if we cannot make them work properly from a UX point of view on mobile, right? Because we all know that a lot of people, and majority of people, let's say these days, are using their mobile.
What did you say?
So I experimented a little bit and I sort of found a compromise solution for now. I'm still testing something and I want to make the tabs basically sticky, but it's not working for some reason. Who knows, maybe in a future video we will see that in action. Until then, let's see what I came up with, and all I have to say is that there were things that did not work properly. So let's get into it. All right, let's add our tabs widget to the page. Let me just give this some space at the bottom. You don't have to do this, but I have something else on the page and it's better when we preview it. Okay, so this is how it looks unstyled. Now let's go to our content. I'm gonna add another tab item here and just change the tab titles to some random words. Obviously, you change it to whatever your use case is. And another one, mouse. All right, and for now that's it for the tabs. I'm gonna switch the tabs direction to left, justify, and also give these tabs a width of 90 pixels and align the text to center. I will leave the responsive settings as they are. And let's move on to style. Here I want to remove the gaps between tabs. And you need to do this, otherwise it doesn't work for some reason. Basically, you have to add the 0 value in the box and remove the distance from content as well. Let's change the background to something with this color. So this would be the normal state. The active state color will be green light. Again, this changes according to your use case. This is my use case. All right, so this is how it looks, and I think it's pretty cool and pretty nice. Let's give some padding to the tabs, and I'm gonna set the top padding to 50, bottom 50, right and left to 10, and they're looking already much better. All right, let's style it a bit the title, and I'm gonna switch the font to Play Fair Display and bring this to 0.8 and transform to uppercase. And voila, it's looking much better. Okay, so we're not going to have an icon or anything else here. I think I will change though the text on active to be darker, and on normal it will be this green light. Yes, much better. All right, so now let's go back to our content, to our tabs, and we need to give these tabs a CSS ID, and obviously will be different for each tab because IDs are unique, and you can't and you should not have the same ID on the same page, basically, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so I'm going to set my IDs. I already have them set in my CSS code. If you're wondering why they're so random, again, they are not. And 2, and the last one, 3. Okay, this is not making any sense right now, but it will in a second when I add my CSS. Let's see some magic. Okay, make sure that you are in your widget, in your tabs widget, go to advanced and go all the way to custom CSS. Voila! I mean, how cool? How cool are these tabs? I think they're pretty cool. All right, so let's see how this look on tablet. On tablet, I would say they are fine the way they are, but the problem begins or starts or whatever when we view these tabs on mobile, because they turn into an accordion. But the accordion is not your normal accordion where you click on the tab and it opens and closes. Unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know why Elementor did this, but there's nothing we can do at this point. But there's a solution, and there's a compromise solution in a sense, and I will show you what I have found. I'm using the code from Maxim from Elementor How, and this is his solution for this problem. And to be honest, I think it's pretty okay. It's much better than we have already, and I have implemented, and I think it looks pretty okay. So I'm going to copy the code, and I'm gonna add, first of all, for this, I'm gonna add an HTML widget, and I'm going to drop in my code. And you don't see anything right now because we need to see this on mobile. And as you can see on mobile right now, they look pretty funny, right? But we need to switch the direction on mobile to top, and they're already looking better, and justify center. And I'm going to also change the padding to 30. And it is looking better. And don't mind this navigation bar, this horizontal navigation bar, because this you will not see on mobile, and that's pretty cool. Because when you click on one of these tabs, for example, let's say I click on this one or this one, and this one will switch the position with this one. Basically, it will slide in the center, and it's a pretty cool effect. And I will have a video somewhere where I'm showing that on my mobile. I tested to see how it works, obviously, and it works. And I think it's a good compromise for now until we find a better solution. And kudos to Maxim for this code. And I'll have his details in the description below, his website and his channel. Okay, now that this is working, let's move on to styling our tabs. All right, so let's play with the container of the first tab. Let me just go to the container, and I'm going to give this a background of sand, basically the same color of the tab when it's not active. And I am going to also give this a border, and I'm going to keep the top border, basically this one here, to 0, and the other ones round them to 30 pixels. And that's how it's looking. All right, so we're gonna give this container some padding. Let me set it to top 100 and the other sides to 50 pixels. All right, so far so good. Let's add a container in here, and this container will hold our text. And I'm setting the container to direction horizontal, and I'm gonna drag in a heading, and I'm going to also drag in the text editor. All right, let's change the color to our color green light, and this one as well to green light. And let's say something else. Read our latest blog articles. Okay, so far so good. Let's drag in our loop grid. All right, let's create our template, and this is where things start to go wrong. Let's set the structure to direction vertical, and let's add our featured image as well as post title, because we want to feature our blog post, right? And let's go to post info, and let me just remove this last two. Author is fine. All right, let me just style this real quick, change the color a little bit, and text to 1.5 size, and text color of the post info as well as the size 2.7 rem. Also the color of the icon to orange. Okay, all good and fine, right? Let's see what happens now when we save and go back. Tell me what's missing here. Yes, if you notice that the title is missing, then you're right. The title is missing. So what is going on here? I think that's something wrong with there's something wrong with this. It ate my title. All right, anyway, so let's set the columns to 2. We're showing only 2 columns. Let me just give it some margin top. Whoops, plenty. Okay, change the font to something less bold. All right, I think this should do, more or less. Okay, and let's go back to our loop grid, and I think, not I think, we can switch this 2 items per page, show only 2 basically. And it's pretty nice. Let me just edit a little bit the image. I want to give it a border radius of 6. Looks much better. Let's update this, save it, and let's see how this looks on mobile. Yes, we need to change the direction. I think this is much better. Let's reduce the size of the font a little bit, as well as here, more or less. And again, we have an issue here. We don't have any padding to the right or to the left according to these settings here, but as you can see, we do actually. So what is going on here? So there's no way I can change this. I mean, call me crazy, but what actually is going on here? Whoops. All right, let's see on mobile. On mobile is looking okay. I think it's fine. Let me just change a little bit of font, make it a bit bigger, and set this to 100%. Why is it pixels though? And I think this is okay, maybe a bit bigger. And as you can see, this is how our text would look. And what I have to do is change the border on this container. We don't need a border right. Let's see, bottom only and left. And we have it the bottom only. So this is how it would look on mobile. And you, as I said, you will not see this bar on mobile, but you will have this gap because for some reason, let's go back and let's go back to our styles, and we're checking the styles of the tabs widget, and as you can see, there's nothing we can do here. It's at 0. So you can basically go to the container, give this container a class, and set this to count. Don't forget it's a class, and say margin top minus 25 pixels. Whoops. Okay, but we want, obviously we want this only on mobile, so let me just grab the code for mobile and let's close the bracket, and that's it. So yeah, there are some issues and plenty, and I don't know if I will be using this anytime soon necessarily. Also, I would love to have the possibility to basically copy the style of this container and go further to the next one, but that's not a possibility. I see this being a very useful feature that once is bug free, it's going to be so powerful. So what I wanted to say, so one way you can use basically this widget is, for example, you can filter through all these tabs, and if you have different categories for your blogs, for example, you would say I don't know, Elementor tutorials, and you would have your tutorials here, and then you would have code snippets, and you would have code snippets here, and blah 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 blah. So I think it's pretty cool. So fingers crossed that these issues will be fixed very soon. If you'd like to see what else you can build with Elementor, watch this playlist here. And if you have gotten any value out of this video, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing this video, and I'll see you next time.